Let's talk about something we've all dreamed of. You walk into your boss's office, you get the news, a big fat raise, 20% bump, new job that pays double. You do the math in your head, you picture everything you can finally do. The stress is gone, the money problems are over, life is about to get so much better. You feel this incredible rush of excitement and relief. The first month, the bigger paycheck hits. It looks amazing. You feel rich. Pay off a credit card. Buy that thing you wanted. It feels fantastic. A well-deserved reward. But then something strange happens. A few months go by. 6 months. A year. You check your bank account again. Despite that massive raise, you're back where you started, living paycheck to paycheck, wondering where the extra money went. This isn't made up. It's real for millions. So what is this mysterious force that keeps people broke, even when their income skyrockets? It's a concept called lifestyle inflation. It also goes by the name lifestyle creep, which is a perfect description because it really does creep up on you. It's the tendency to increase your spending as your income increases. It sounds simple, almost harmless. You earn more, so you spend more. What's the big deal? You deserve to enjoy the fruits of your labor, right? The problem is, it happens so gradually, so subtly, that you barely notice it until it's too late. It's a slow and steady expansion of your wants until they become your new needs. When you were a student making almost nothing, living on ramen noodles, sharing a tiny apartment with 3 roommates, but once you get that first real job, you think, I've earned the right to have my own place. You get a raise and you think, I deserve a nicer car than this old beater. Another promotion and weekly takeout becomes nightly dinners at fancy restaurants. Each step up feels justified. Each upgrade feels like a natural progression. You're not making one giant, irresponsible purchase. You're making a series of small, seemingly reasonable adjustments to your standard of living. The danger is it moves the goalposts. Let's break down how lifestyle inflation actually works in the real world. It rarely starts with a single, massive purchase like a yacht or a mansion. It's much more subtle than that. It's a series of small, incremental changes. They seem completely insignificant on their own. It's the daily drip. You stop making coffee at home and buy a $5 latte every morning. $5 sounds small, but that's the beginning of the creep. It feels like a minor convenience, a small luxury you can now afford. Then it continues. You used to pack your lunch, cheap and healthy. Now you go out for lunch with coworkers. $15 salad, $20 burrito. In the moment, it doesn't feel like a big deal. It's social, it's convenient. You tell yourself you have the money for it now. The new iPhone just came out. Everyone has it at the office. So you sign up for a new payment plan. It's only an extra $50 a month. The pattern is always the same, small, justifiable increases. Beyond the small daily drips, lifestyle inflation really kicks into high gear with the big-ticket items. This is what I call the upgrade treadmill. As soon as you get a significant pay bump, there's immense pressure, both internal and external, to upgrade your major assets. The most common one is your home. You've been living in a perfectly fine starter home, or a modest apartment, but now you're a manager, or you've hit a new income bracket. Suddenly, you feel you need a bigger house, in a better neighborhood, with a 2-car garage, and a backyard for entertaining. This is a massive financial trap. Moving into a more expensive house doesn't just mean a higher mortgage payment. That's only the beginning. Higher property taxes, more to heat and cool, more furniture to buy, higher maintenance and repair bills, professional lawn service, HOA fees. Before you know it, that small bump in your housing payment has exploded into thousands of dollars in extra annual costs, completely eating up your raise and then some. The same logic applies to your car. Your reliable 2015 Toyota Camry gets you from A to B without issues, but it doesn't fit the image of your new, more successful self. So you start looking at a new BMW. You justify it, you deserve something nice. The true, devastating power of lifestyle inflation isn't really felt in a single day or even a single month. Instead, it's revealed over years and decades through the magic of compounding, or, in this case, the tragedy of compounding losses. So, let's go back to that simple $5 coffee and $15 lunch habit. We calculated that it costs about $3,600 per year. But what if, instead of spending that money, you had invested it? This is where the math gets, well, really shocking. If you took that $3,600 a year, which is just $300 a month, and invested it in a simple, low-cost index fund like the S&P 500, assuming a conservative average annual return of 8%, the numbers become staggering. After 10 years, That seemingly small habit would have cost you over $52,000 in potential wealth. That's enough for a down payment on a house or to pay off all your student loans. It's a quiet catastrophe that unfolds over a decade. If you maintained that same habit for 30 years, from age 30 to age 60, that harmless spending would have prevented you from accumulating over $408,000. Let me say that again, almost $500,000. Gone. This brings us to one of the most important distinctions in personal finance, something that trips up almost everyone. It's the massive difference between looking rich and being rich. Our society, especially with the influence of social media, is just obsessed with the appearance of wealth. We see influencers on private jets, celebrities with multi-million-dollar car collections, and friends posting pictures from five-star resorts. The message is clear. Wealth is about what you have, what you wear, and where you go. It's about projecting an image of success through conspicuous consumption. So when people get a raise, their first instinct is often to buy the props that make them look rich. They lease a luxury car, they buy a designer watch, they rent an apartment in the trendiest part of town with a rooftop pool. From the outside, they look like they've made it. Their friends are impressed. Their Instagram feed is flawless. They get the external validation that they crave. But here's the brutal truth. The person driving the $80,000 Mercedes on a lease with $0 in their investment account is not rich. They are broke. In fact, they are often in a more precarious financial position than someone who drives a 10-year-old Honda but has $200,000 in a brokerage account. The person with the assets is wealthy. The person with the liabilities and monthly payments is just a high-income consumer. One has financial security, freedom, and options. The other has a high-stress life, constantly one paycheck away from having their entire facade crumble. If the people who look rich are often broke, then who are the truly wealthy? The answer was famously studied in The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas Stanley and William Danko. They spent decades researching America's millionaires, and the results were shocking. The typical millionaire isn't the person on reality TV. You probably wouldn't even notice them. They are the millionaire next door, modest and unassuming. Most self-made millionaires built wealth slowly and steadily by following one simple rule. Spend less than you earn and invest the difference. It's not a sexy secret, not a lucky stock pick, not a genius business idea. It's discipline and delayed gratification. They prioritize financial independence over status. Every dollar not spent on a depreciating asset like a fancy car becomes a dollar to invest in appreciating assets, stocks, real estate. The book is full of stats. Typical millionaire, modest house, middle-class neighborhood, lived there for 20-plus years. They buy used cars, they make a budget, they track expenses, they know where every dollar goes, they pay themselves first. Savings and investments get paid before anything else. They reject high-consumption lifestyles. This is the blueprint. Wealth isn't about earning more, it's about widening the gap between what you earn and what you spend. Wider gap equals sign more capital to invest. More investing equals sign faster growth, sooner financial freedom. So how do you avoid this trap? How do you break the cycle of lifestyle inflation and start building real wealth no matter how much you earn? It comes down to being intentional with your money. You have to create a plan for your income before it even hits your bank account. The first and most critical step is to give every dollar a job. This is the essence of budgeting. You need to know exactly where your money is going. Use an app, a spreadsheet, or a simple notebook. Track every single expense for a month. You will be shocked at what you find. This isn't about restricting yourself. It's about gaining awareness. Once you know where your money is going, the next step is to make a pay-yourself-first plan. Before you pay your rent, your car payment, your grocery bill, you pay your future self. This means setting up automatic transfers from your checking account to your savings and investment accounts. At the end of the day, we need to completely redefine what it means to be successful. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that a bigger paycheck is the solution to all of our problems. We tell ourselves, if I could just earn a little more, then I'd be set. But as we've seen, that's rarely the case. For most people, earning more money simply means spending more money. They get a raise, but their financial stress levels stay exactly the same. They work for decades, climbing the corporate ladder, only to reach their 60s with little to show for it but a collection of nice things and a mountain of anxiety. The truth is, your income is just a tool. It's a powerful tool for sure, but a tool nonetheless. A carpenter can have the most expensive hammer in the world, but if they don't know how to use it, they can't build a house. Similarly, you can have a massive income, but if you don't know how to manage it, you'll never build wealth. The person who earns $60,000 a year and saves and invests 20% of it is on a much clearer path to riches than the person who earns $300,000 and saves nothing. It's not about the size of your shovel. It's about how much you choose to put aside with every scoop. Real, lasting wealth isn't a number on your payslip. It's the result of 1,000 small, disciplined choices made over a long period of time. It's the choice to make coffee at home, to drive your car longer, to automatically invest half of every raise. Choices that lead to freedom.